Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Lazarus. With Lazarus, there's always that decision on when to kill yourself, because the sooner you kill yourself, the sooner you can actually gain the benefits of having a higher DPS. And that's usually why you would do that, because when you revive as Lazarus 2, you actually have a slightly higher damage, you also shoot a bit faster, and your range is also higher, which are all stats that actually contribute to you beating the game faster. So some people think that you should kill yourself as early as possible, so you can reap those benefits as early as possible again. But my decision or my opinion is that you really shouldn't do it, especially on a run that only goes to Mom. You really want to have the devil precedent, so you can hopefully have more chances to actually get the shovel. And that shovel will then, of course, allow you to go further than Mom, because you'll be able to dig entrances to next floors beyond your original goal. But to do that, you can't really be in Lazarus 2 form, because you revive with only one red heart. So if you enter the second floor with only one red heart and maybe a spirit heart, and if there are two devil deals, you can't actually take both of them, which means that you're gimping yourself and kind of reducing your chances of actually getting the shovel, because you really do want to have the devil precedent. So in my opinion, it's a much better idea to just wait as Lazarus 1 until you get the first devil deal, then you trade the hearts away, and then maybe you kill yourself. And thankfully that opportunity presents itself very nicely in this case. Usually what you would do is you would kill yourself on the curse room, because the curse room deals damage to you but doesn't actually inflict any damage penalty. But thankfully what happened in this situation, we managed even to get the blood bank. And the blood bank is just great. Whenever you can get it in a daily, you usually should play it until it breaks. And in our scenario, it will also serve as a nice vessel to actually kill ourselves. And in the meanwhile, we'll also get some coins. And thankfully with the coins we get, we can then visit the shop on this and the next floors, and hopefully we can finagle something out of that. We got a lot of good items here. So we got a magic mush, we got a spirit heart, but I'm not picking it up because remember, I'm actually planning on killing myself right after I visit my devil deal. There I find the spirit of the night. I mainly take it for the devil precedent, so I can get the devil deals later on as well. At this point it's still nice to have flight obviously and have spectral tears, because that will also give us some benefits, like we won't have to use the bombs as much. And of course it's just much easier to finagle. We're just much more defensive and offensive whenever you actually have flight. So in this situation it's actually, our strategy turned out very well just because of the items we got. And thankfully at the end of the floor, just because we got a bunch of HP ups, we're basically back to where we were before, but with a slightly higher damage. Of course that is kind of all nullified, the fact that we went through those mental gymnastics, maybe instead of the Ivy bag, but the damage ups were completely unnecessary because we have the epic fetus in the next floor. And the epic fetus, I usually wouldn't take it, but because this was a short run to Mom and we had the holy mantle and we had flight, I deemed that this was probably the best option to take epic fetus. Obviously, besides the high damage, you also have the ability to use the explosions to discover secret rooms, to destroy tinted rocks, and for all those reasons, and because we just didn't have a lot of bombs at the time, I decided that it would be a good investment. Also another reason is that when you have a short run, every consumable you pick up or waste is gonna add up much more to the score than if you have a run that goes on further. So let's say that one bomb costs you 100 points, just for the sake of the example. If your total run is around 20,000 points, those 100 points is a bigger contributor to your overall percentage, to your relative percentage, than if you had a 50,000 point run. So for that reason, it's very important that we save our bombs, and having epic fetus does allow us to do that, and we can still explore fully all of the floors, and thankfully with that get as much points as possible. So with all of that said, what really went wrong in this run? Well, nothing really went wrong in this run. The only difference, or maybe the only mistake that we did maybe, was not exploding all of the skull rocks later on, because the skull rocks have a chance of giving you an AWAS rune, and there's really no reason why I shouldn't be doing it, or maybe why I didn't do it. I did my best on the last floor to do it, but obviously right now in this room and in the previous treasure room, I didn't blow them up, and like I said, there's no reason not to do it because we have epic fetus, so bombs don't cost us anything except maybe 2 seconds of our time. And we can spare 2 seconds in hopes or maybe for a chance to find an AWAS rune. But also another thing we have to do, or that we had to do if we want to maximize our chances of actually getting as much score as possible, is having a card that allows us to teleport out of boss rush. And that's not to be used so you get in the boss rush, take the item and teleport out, but what you want to do is you want to go back to exploring the floor after you actually complete boss rush. Usually what you want to do as well is, if you have a sacrifice room somewhere, because that allows you to teleport to the dark room, you can then beat boss rush, teleport out, and still sacrifice yourself and sacrifice 12 or 13 hearts, and then go to the dark room and complete both boss rush and beat the lamp, and that just gives you a massive amount of points. But even beyond that, what the teleport card allows us to do, even if you don't have a sacrifice room, is we go to boss rush first. So basically we just bomb rush the boss, so we complete it as fast as possible, and then we can teleport out and explore the rest of the floor at our leisure, so we're not in any hurry. And thankfully all of that has kind of culminated in a very strong run. Thankfully we made all the right decisions in this one, and I think it shows that this was a particularly good play. And the decisions we made really turned out to be for the best. We have an option here of taking Isaac's heart, which might be a good idea, because I don't know if using the Ivy bag actually protects us if we have the child's heart or Isaac's heart, and I probably should have picked it up just to try it out, because I think that would be an interesting experiment, but I decided not to, because obviously Isaac's heart is one of the worst items in the game. And I was thinking maybe if I get an AOS rune and can go a floor further, Isaac's heart is probably gonna hurt me. If I knew I was gonna stop here, I would have picked it up just for the sake of the experiment, but obviously we are still trying to save the amount of points we get, and every item we pick up is costing us some points. And like I said, at this level, because this run doesn't only go to Mom, every single point is much more valuable, just because the overall amount of points is much lower, which means that any point gain or loss is relatively higher than if you just had more points in total. So with that said, we did finish the run in a very comfortable 13th place, which was obviously very great. Thankfully, because we had Flight, we had Holy Mantle, we had the Ivy bag with the Polaroid, we just didn't take any damage, and even still we somehow managed to get one hit off, and that was just maybe a bit unlucky on our part, because the shot was from off screen. Our item penalty is not that low, our time penalty is probably a bit higher than it should have been, just because we were pretty strong. Our exploration bonus was okay, and our swag bonus was also could be a little bit higher, but we did finish in a very comfortable space, and the fact that we are 13 gives me hope that there is no breaking shenanigans. So, you know, if you're playing this daily later on, I hope that you maybe know what you were doing and that you maybe found a way to go forward. And definitely I think the secret here, not the secret, but the main thing I didn't do is destroying those skull rocks. And just remember, for the next daily, skull rocks are very, very important. And not important, but you shouldn't do it if you have the chance to do it. So if you have the bombs, or maybe in our case we had Epic Fetus, which is basically 3 bombs, you should explode them just for the off chance of getting an AOS rune. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.